As a preparation for the upcoming texturing video, I would like to talk to you a little bit about proper asset or file management. So here on the desktop, you can see I have an environmental image, Studio 19. I have a concrete and a wood texture, both two images, and I have a blend file, just a generic file. When you start modeling or exploring a design, doing your concept work, etc., it's probably very common that maybe you start working on the desktop, and if you need a texture, you go online, Google it, and drag it to the desktop. And then later, maybe you want to put it into a folder or move things around, and that's all okay. But there are two things to point out. On the one side, let's say over the course of the semester, you would like to reuse this one HDRI file, or maybe you want to reuse this concrete image multiple times. And you don't necessarily want, for example, in this case, with each project folder, let's say this is maybe project 1, and then we create another project with a variation. So for example, project 2, and let's say maybe another variation, or a complete different, let's say, furniture project, project 3. And in each one, as you can see, we have, for example, a different design file, but always the same textures. So the problem is we have multiple copies of the textures. This uses up a lot of disk space over time. And for example, if you want to search for a file and you get 3, 4, 5, 10 hits for the same file, it's very, very annoying. So to solve that problem, I would like to propose the following folder hierarchy. So it's really up to you which one you want to work with. If you, for example, would like to work with iCloud, or for example, if you would like to work with Google Drive. Those two services are very good. If you are okay with the 5 GB, perfect. If you need more, each one costs only around $14 a year, so around $1.50 or something, I think, per month. And then with Apple iCloud, you get 50 GB, and with Google, you get 100 GB. This has one advantage. First, your files are always backed, so they're secure. In case your laptop breaks down, your jump drive gets lost, doesn't matter, because your digital files are backed online. The second advantage is if you work at home or in the lab, you can always access your files from wherever you are. So you don't even need to carry jump drives and such with you. Specifically, if you don't have a laptop and you want to work at the school computers, then this is really a must-have. I also have actually all my design work double backed in both services, so in case my house burns down, my computer breaks, then well, I might have to buy a new computer, which is from 2008, but the most precious thing, my design work, is still there. So perfect. So this should be your two top project folders, iCloud or Google Drive. And then now, for example, we can create one folder, let's say design resources. Into this folder, we will copy all our textures we will get. And for example, in there, to bring a little bit order, the studio, which is, as you can see, has an ending HDRI. For example, we call HDRI for that folder, and then wood and concrete. Those are two image textures. Let's maybe call them just textures. We only have two right now. If you have more textures, let's say metal and wood and concrete, and you want then to create folders so it's easier to navigate all your files, then please do so. That's what I have as well. Okay, so now we have design resources. Perfect. And now here I have, let's say, this design file. For example, I call this one design 1, and then I can copy it in here. So these two folders should always be on ideally the same level, because then later moving elements around, copy and paste and sharing will make it very, very easy. So for example, when we add textures to this design file, we will load all the textures always out of this folder. And then those, for example, can be put into Google Drive or into, for example, iCloud. Let's say here in iCloud, we will make one folder called Industrial Design, because this is for the Industrial Design course. And then there we put all this too. Perfect. Okay, so I will now, for example, move this one into my actual iCloud folder. So now you see it starts instantly backing it up. And every time when you work and you do a save, it uploads your backup. Perfect. So let's go to this folder, so we can get rid of. And there we are. Great. There's one additional variation that's good to know. So let's say I make a copy. So here we have design 2, and these are two different products, but maybe they use both the same studio file to illuminate my scene. Then it's great because these two files can access the same HDRI file instead of having two copies. But let's say for Studio 2 there is a texture that's really only unique to this design. So if I really don't use it again, let's say it's a logo or something, I in this folder, for example, can create another texture, and then inside this texture folder I can then copy textures which I will only ever really use with this design file. Perfect. Okay, so that basically includes everything that's important to know about how to effectively, for example, pre-plan your folder structure and then sort all your files. Because when you want to send a file or share a design with somebody, let's say you have a problem with design 2 and you want to send it to me via email, you could say compress and then email it to me. And then I load it, and well, I will see that all the textures are missing. But for example, if you would say, hey, design 2 with this design folder will work, design 1 with this design folder, and then if you send both this way, for example, then I can get instantly all the files I need. And you also know you don't have to hunt down missing textures or something. Okay. There's also in Blender a possibility to include textures. That works as well, but then there can other mistakes happen. And from my experience as a student over a semester, you will not make this folder very big, so it's only a few megabytes at the end, so that's easy to copy via email. Talking about email, the second huge advantage by using, for example, iCloud or Google Drive in particular, is you can also simply share this complete design folder with me. And instead of sending a file via email, you share me the Google Drive link, and then I go online, open the file, and then I can access all the files I actually need right from my computer, do an adjustment to it, save it, and it goes right back to your Google Drive or iCloud, and it goes down then to your folder. I personally use the iCloud as the storage for finished stuff, and I use Google Drive for the cloud storage where I work on project and collaborate on, meaning I have to send invites out. I will, for example, transfer my design folder to Google Drive. And here, for example, Wayne teaching, and I will move this one into 3D modeling, correct course. Okay, perfect. You see now Google Drive is now updating everything. I can right mouse button and say view with Google Drive. Then actually it opens a browser and shows the folder. Let's maybe do this for a second. So it's loading it. And there you see the stuff. If I click onto the folder on top, industrial design, there. Now you could, for example, create the share icon and then send me an invite and then either tell me I can view or edit. Since I probably should help you, you want to use the edit command. And also when you are on Mac and you have the Google Drive app installed, right mouse button click, there's also the share using Google Drive. And then you don't have to go to a browser, you can just directly type in, for example, my name, inviting myself, set the specification, and then click the get link and then copy the link to me or click send, and then I will be able to access the file. So let's say you are working between your home computer and the iMac on the school. So what you would then basically have to do is follow the same design structure. I would actually, if you switch between home and Mac computers and you don't have a laptop, actually advise to use Google Drive in this case because it's a tick easier. And then always make sure that, for example, you copy down for the time you work there the folder for your design resources and then the folder where your blend file is in, and then later we just copy everything back. So let's say I copy this down, and hold on 1 second, maybe I should do this actually not this way but actually go back to the web interface. There. Okay, now I'm just opening the Google Drive. So for example, there you see 3D modeling, there's a complete folder. We don't want to download everything, but maybe this one, and then right mouse button click, you could say download, click this one, right mouse button click, download, then it will create a zip file and then you can download everything. And let's say now on our home computer or at school we finish something, specifically the school, because the home computer you can set up so that Google Drive syncs automatically, but at the iMac at work we can't really do it because we can't install Google Drive and then have every student have a different ID. That doesn't work. But once, for example, we have everything downloaded, worked, modeled, whatever, we're done, and then this file, for example, only got changed, so nothing else, then we could, for example, go to the design one folder in Google Drive and just upload this one, and then it just uploads it for you. Perfect. And that's basically it. Oh, and this is new. If you upload file matches the name or an existing one, add it as a new version. Ah, cool. Interesting. And the nice thing with Google Drive, as you can see, it even does versioning. So later, for example, let's try this out, I think. Right click, manage versions there. Yeah, perfect. We could then even actually go back to, for example, an older version. So, but as I say, that's only saved for 30 days. That's a month. Okay, well, that's basically it. Everything about proper file management and then online storing, and then how at home or specifically at the school you can download the files you need to work and then move the files back. And I think specifically this because of the school situation, you start realizing why this strict folder approach to manage your assets is actually very useful and advisable.